Okay, so now we're recording. So we're going to talk carryover volume today. We're going to talk about how to sort of capitalize on this. And we're going to talk about how you can sort of maximize this while you are rank advancing. So some of you guys I know from Facebook, some of you guys I don't know yet, but that's okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what your carryover volume is. Because if you don't know what that is or where to find it, this whole thing is useless. Okay, so if you are somebody, I'm gonna like call on somebody that I sort of know. Mary, I know you. Very simple. Let me unmute you because I want to ask you this. What is your rank?
Emerald.
You're Emerald. Okay. Or are you on one of Melissa's outside legs?
Yes.
Okay. Can you do me a favor and pull up your coach office for me?
I won't lose you if I do that?
No, you won't.
Okay. Sorry, it's coming.
So for those of you guys who are newer or maybe do not understand what I'm doing, I'm going to have Mary pull up, and you guys can do this. You can write this down. I'm going to melt my kids' thing.
Okay, I'm in my coach office.
I thought this was a coaster. Apparently it's not. So what I want you to do is tell me what your volume is on your left leg and on your right leg right now.
All right, let me look. My volume by leg. My left leg volume is 494.
Okay.
And my right leg volume is 20,851.
Big difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the very short and long version of it. Is anybody here not Emerald? You have never been Emerald before. I don't know if anybody not on here is raising their hand. Okay. Anyway, if you haven't been Emerald before, you need to do it. Like now, like today. For a handful of reasons. Okay. So Mary, I'm just going to use you as an example, Mary, because we have your volume here. So yes. Because Mary is your Emerald, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Mary's Emerald. So she's got 494 on her left leg and over 20,000 on her right leg. 20,000 roughly translated is like $1,500-1,800 bucks, right? If you're not Emerald, you lose it. You don't have it tomorrow morning. It's not there. It's gone. When the week resets, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. You lose it. So right now, you're going to cycle probably 5 times on that money tomorrow because that's what's on your left leg. So you'll get a cycle bonus of about 70 bucks. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
That 20,000 that Mary has, because she's Emerald, is going to carry over and it's going to bank. Okay? And what you guys have to think of your carryover is a bank account. It's volume if you've ever been Emerald. If you've never been Emerald before, at the end of every week, all that volume that you see, it flushes. And there's nothing there. It'll go back to 0 every Thursday morning. If you have been Emerald and you just fall out of Emerald, maybe you had a coach go inactive, maybe you didn't count the weeks correct under your spouse, something like that. You'll fall out of Emerald, but as long as you're active, you won't lose that money. If you ever go inactive as an Emerald, as a Ruby, as a Diamond, as a Star Diamond, I don't care. If you ever go full on flashing red inactive, I don't care if you've been collecting carryover volume for 3 years, gone. You lose every penny of it. That's why we have things like active status guarantee. Make sure you always have your 50 PV. If you're not drinking Shakeology every day, I don't know why. But at the same time, if you're somebody who somehow has a backup of it, buy a box or two of bars, buy a container of Recover, do something, sell something to stay active, because that money is going to sit there. Okay. Now, you guys want to know how much money that is? Mary, can you go into your carryover volume and tell me, do you know where to find your carryover?
I'm looking at it now, I think. Carryover volume for prior week, it says. Or wait, no, I'm sorry. My carryover volume. Okay.
Yeah, so your left leg probably doesn't have much. It probably has less than 100.
Left leg. Wait, I'm sorry. Thing. I'm looking at the period in the week.
That's okay. All the way let me pull mine up and I can tell you where to find it. All the way at the top on the right, you'll see.
My left leg is 404.
Oh.
And my right leg is 20,157?
No. Hold on, let me pull mine up.
Sorry.
Here's what I'm going to tell you to look, because I want to explain this to you guys so that A, you know what's sitting there waiting for you and why this is so important. And if you guys have specific questions, obviously we'll go over them. But I want to make sure that you guys understand this, and this is sort of like a homeworky kind of thing. But if you guys don't understand the compensation plan, you're not going to be able to maximize it. You need to understand the compensation plan, because there's caps on the amount of leads you can receive depending on your rank. How many of you did not know that? There's caps on the amount of leads that you can receive depending on your rank. You're capped as far as your cycle bonuses go. There is something called a master flush. So if you don't cycle on all your money after a certain amount of time, you lose it, which is no fun either. Who wants to lose money that's sitting there waiting for you to be paid on? So I have to update my Safari. It never works anymore. Okay, so that's priority. So Mary, if you go to monitor my business and then click on carryover volume.
Monitor my business and carryover volume, okay?
Right. You will see probably the top row should say week ending 6/20.
Yes.
Okay. All the way on the right, you'll see a column that's carryover LV and carryover RV.
Right.
Right. What do those say?
Carryover LV says 404.
Okay.
Carryover RV says 20,157.
That's in addition to your, did you just go Emerald?
No, I did a while ago.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if that's your carryover, you'll get a bigger check tomorrow. You'll have 8 or 9 cycles. Good for you, right? That's what we want. So, but here's the thing, guys. She got 20,000 sitting there. She got another 20,000 from this week. That's going to carry over there. So here's the thing. Let's do a little math. You were a diamond. Do you know how much money that is? Can you see that number right there? $3,700. Now, diamond's capped at $2,000 a week. So you'd have a little carryover. But if that leg is doing that strong leg is doing $20,000 a week, and you build your weak leg up, you'll cap $2,000 a week, $100,000 a year. Would you bust your ass to grow your weak leg? You only have to grow one leg. because you already have that power leg. You have just your 4 or 5 active coaches on that power leg, and you just stick to that weak leg, girlfriend. You build that and build that and build that. Here's the thing, is you guys have to make sure, can you review the top subjects under this report? Kim, I'm not sure what you, here's the thing, Emerald caps at $250 a week in cycle bonuses. So that's also $14 a cycle and not 18 like a diamond makes. So you're capped roughly at about 16, 17 cycles a week. So if your weak leg is doing 500, 600 a week, keep building it. Keep building it. When you see that weak leg start to tip 1,000 a week, you got to get to diamond or you're going to lose that money. Because what happens is you'll cap out. Say you grow your weak leg, say you have a big month, guys, this is why it's super important. Like Mick was talking about how they didn't know that they were capping and they were losing money. Because what happens is if you cap, that volume doesn't bank. You lose whatever's extra. So if you say you have a crazy week, your Emerald, your weak leg does 2,500 volume points, right? Great, fantastic. It would be 25 cycles. It's not. It's 16. Those 9 extra cycles don't carry over to next week. You lose them because you capped because of your rank. Does that make sense? Okay. So, the top subjects in that report. So the only important things that you guys have to know on that report is your carryover and your lifetime cycles. Every 5,000 cycles, your carryover flushes. You lose everything that's on your weak leg, and you lose everything that's on your strong leg, except for, I think, 5,000. Here's the other thing. Some of you are probably going to go look at your carryover. You're not going to see a lot. You're not going to see much on either leg. Believe it or not, that's what you want, because you're capitalizing on every single volume point that flows through your organization. You're not leaving any money on the table. So I know Angel, I don't know if Angel's on. Angel commented yesterday about being on a dead leg. That's where Melissa started, was on a dead leg, so she had nothing coming up. She had no power leg to start. So those of you guys that have a strong leg, don't not take advantage of that. That's a great place to be. A dead leg, basically, Lisa, is if your sponsor quit and you were placed on an inside leg and you don't have any volume flowing underneath you from above. Like you'll see coaches coming into your organization that were sponsored by maybe people that are above you. You don't have that. I don't have that. In 5 years of coaching, I've never had a single person placed below me. I built both legs on my own, but now my coaches all have the advantage of a power leg. And in every organization, you're going to have that. And in every organization, you're going to have people that don't take advantage of that fact. I have coaches who will sit and complain that their car got repossessed, that they can't pay their bills. And we look at their carryover and they're sitting on like $40,000. I'm like, you guys, you just have to capitalize on it. That's all. If you're somebody who you go in and you see that you don't have a lot of carryover, don't be like, oh man, I don't have any money that I'm sitting on. No, because you're getting paid all of it every week. Like, that's what you want. My carryover from last week, where the hell is my name? Was 129 on one leg and 93 on the other. Like, you want to use every penny, because it's the same reason people say about paying taxes. Like, you don't want to give why are you letting Beachbody hold on to your money? That's yours. Like, it's sitting there. New Emerald. Okay, wait a minute. Let me go back through this. Kim has 81,000 in carryover. Kim, are you Emerald or are you Diamond? Emerald. You've got a little over $7,000 sitting there, girlfriend. So I don't know what you could do at $7,000, but I could think of a couple things I do. I'd go back to Disney with $7,000. But here's the thing. So I've never paid attention to that at all, and I'm sitting on over 430,000 carryover volume. Melissa, girlfriend, that's a lot of money. I don't even know if you want me to tell you how much money that is. So you guys can figure this out for yourself too. I'll show you how to do it. Yeah, you don't want me to tell you how much money that is. You could buy a car with that money. You could buy my car that's in my garage. I drive a Highlander. Does that make that? Does that let you know how much money you're sitting on? Shelly's, can I explain the math? Yes. So here's, girlfriend, I am from New York. You could curse wherever you want. I take no offense to it. I encourage it. Shelly, that's good. That's not far from where you should be. So when you're seeing those sort of numbers that your carryovers a couple thousand or so, that's okay. One rock star on that other leg will sort of take care of it. Use that as a guide and just sort of watch it is really what you want to do, because you don't want to let it get too far away from you that then it becomes something you can't catch up to, if that makes sense. So here's how I explain this to my team, and here's how I sort of do this math. And if you're somebody like me, I'm very driven by numbers. Like, you draw it all out for me, you give me a list, and you show me what the numbers look like, and I will just take off and go do it. So here's what you do. What you're going to want to do is you're going to go into your online office. You're going to go to Monitor My Business, and you're going to go to Carryover Volume. Okay. And you're going to look at the two columns all the way to the right. It's going to say your carryover right volume and your carryover left volume. One of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to have both legs where the volume is under a couple hundred on both legs, or you're going to have one leg that has less than 100 and another leg that has a lot. What you want to do is you take that big number, okay? And since that's your strong leg, we know that volume goes on a 200-100 split, right? So because that's your strong leg, you're going to take that big number and you're going to divide it by 200, because it's 200 volume points per cycle. And what you're going to get is the number of then cycles that you're sitting on. You're going to take that number, and because what gets paid the highest cycle bonus is Diamond. Star Diamonds get paid at $18 a cycle. Diamonds get paid at $18 a cycle. That's where the bigger caps are. You're going to take that number, you're going to multiply it by 18. So however many cycles you see times $18 a cycle, that final number is how much money that's sitting there waiting for you. Does that make sense? Okay. If you guys have questions, just unmute yourself and ask. Some people, when they're on their phones, it's hard to mute and there's tons of feedback. But if you have questions, just unmute yourself and ask. The thing is like I said, you guys want to make sure, if you're somebody who you're like, oh, they have all this carryover and I don't have any, remember that that's a good thing. You don't want to be sitting there and sitting on a ton of money that you can't cash in on. If you have a ton of it, fantastic. Build the other leg, because that's how you're going to cash in on it. But then you have to watch your cycles, because if you cap, you lose that money. That won't carry over from week to week. How can I get that 7K diamond or reach the leg that's on 100 off like this? So you have to slowly build the other leg, Kim. You'll have to get to diamond, because Emerald caps at 250 a cycle. Emerald should be like a stepping stone. Like it should be a drop in a bucket. Bring 2 people in, get yourself to Emerald, teach them how to do it. It should be quick. It shouldn't take from when you sign up till you get to Emerald. You should give yourself 30 to 60 days to get to Diamond. Because here's the thing. Diamond is simply a mindset. That's all it is. And if you psych yourself out about it, it's going to be harder than it actually is. If you give yourself a lot of lead time, like we're in the end of June, if you're like, oh, I'm going to be Diamond by the end of the year, guess what? You will not be Diamond by the end of the year. I freaking guarantee it. Because you will give yourself way too much lead time. So it's June, 27th? Okay. Who's going to be Diamond by the time Lift 4 launches on July 16th? Good. Who's that? Melissa. Good. I'm going to find you that day. Well, it'll be the Thursday before. But seriously, you guys can do it. And the more you do that, how many of you, if you had, $500 extra a month in cycle bonuses, that would make a huge, huge difference for you. Right. Don't get overwhelmed by the numbers, but it's super important that you pay attention to it. Mary, what do you mean you missed Diamond by not paying attention? You can unmute yourself either. Can I unmute you? Hold on. Yeah. Tell me about that. What happened?
I had, 3 or 4 new customers come on, and they're under me, and I didn't place them under my daughter. I have my daughter as a coach, and I have 2 other coaches, and so I didn't place them properly. So,
how many coaches do you have on each leg?
I'd have to look. I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, sorry.
You mean to make your daughter Emerald? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So I totally messed it up.
But that's okay. That's okay. Do you guys have questions? Okay, so the important thing is here's a couple things. If you guys, especially if you're a newer coach, it's super important, okay? And I know it sounds like homework, but you can't maximize the comp plan if you don't understand it. And it's critical as a business owner that you understand how you're paid. Okay. As an Emerald, like we talked about, you're capped at $250 a week in cycle bonuses, which is $13,000 a year. Not bad for sitting on your couch in your pajamas, right? But if you're a Diamond and you understand how to work the compensation plan, you can cap out at $2,000 a week, which is $104,000 a year. Doesn't that sound a little better? Sit at home in your pajamas, make it $100,000 a year. The other thing is as you rank advance, Diamonds, you get a matching bonus on your coaches. How many of you knew about a matching bonus? Okay, not a lot of you guys. If you're a Diamond coach, you get 10% of whatever your personally sponsored coaches cycle on. So say you're a 1-star and you've got a Diamond who's capped, making $2,000 a week. Guess what? That's $200 a week in your pocket just because you have a coach who's kicking ass. Did you guys know you were capped on Success Club leads based on your rank? You guys need to go read the compensation plan. It's important. It's important. I know it sounds like homework, but you need to do it. Because if you're somebody who maybe you hit Success Club every single month, and that's amazing, and I'm so happy that you do that, but here's the thing, then you better go continue and look for it. I don't know what to tell you. Then you better come up with $280 so I can buy a new one. Maybe I'll go back upstairs and look a little more. Sorry. My 10-year-old lost her retainer. So she's upstairs looking for it. That's what's happening in my house this morning. From Rachel, I don't know how to tell which leg you are on under your sponsored coach. So that's honestly, it's really only important if you make it important. If you have a power leg, that's how you can tell. You have a crazy, stupid, strong leg, that's where you can tell what leg of theirs you're on. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't know where I am in my sponsors organization. I have no clue, no idea. It doesn't matter. Also, I'm unclear as to whether or not if your coach places someone under you in your organization, does their volume count for you? Yes. And if you don't know that answer, you need to read the comp plan. Everybody underneath you counts for team volume. That's one of the biggest benefits of Beachbody and how our comp plan works. Because not only do you earn volume on everybody that's placed underneath you, you also earn at infinite levels down. Like a lot of companies will cap, and you can only earn on like your, like, you know how lead counts, when we did ATV for a lead, it's like the first 3 levels of sponsorship. A lot of companies will cap your paycheck based on your first 3 or 5 or 10 levels of sponsorship. And we pay all the way down. So there's literally no cap on your income aside from your rank. But if, back to what I was saying, if you are somebody who has been looking for the thing in the policies and procedures. Oh, here we go. We have 10 minutes left. So if you guys have questions, ask them. If you have been an emerald or a diamond for a super long time, and maybe you hit Success Club every month, and I think that that's amazing and super awesome. But if you've been an emerald and you're hitting Success Club every month, guess what? Your leads are capped. You get 75 Success Club leads, and that's it. Then you don't get any more. So after you hit 75, you could hit Success Club 10 all you want, but you're not going to get any more leads until you rank advance. So you guys work really, really, really hard to earn Success Club, to get those paying, to get those customers, to get those commissions. If you're not capitalizing that, there's so many places that you're leaving money on the table. Am I making sense? You guys understand where I'm coming from? Okay. And the reason I say this is because I hear so many coaches all the time say, like, I'm really struggling. I feel like I'm working really hard, and I feel like nothing's happening, and I don't understand. And if you don't understand how the comp plan works, that's how you're always going to feel. So it's super important that you understand that. If you have a crazy, stupid, strong leg, you should be adding the minimum amount of coaches there that you need. And by that, I mean, if you're a diamond, you should have no more than like 5 coaches on that leg. The 4 actives that you need and a buffer. And every other person that you sign up should go on your weak leg. Because building that weak leg is what's going to cycle and dip into that money that's sitting there. And if you don't build that, then that strong leg, that carryover is just going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And it'll keep growing, and you could sit there, and I mean, there's coaches, I'm sure, and Melissa's down there with millions of carryover volume, millions of points. And it's sitting there waiting for you to take it. So you just have to decide, is that pushing your business worth it? Are you willing to be like, okay, fine, you know what? Here's where I'm going to draw the line, and I'm going to say, okay, here we go. I need to rank advance. There's all this money that's sitting there waiting for me. Here's what I need to do. Here's what's waiting for me. Here's how I'm going to grow that volume. And put your foot down and hit the gas and just kind of go. Because building that leg, that's where the money is. That's where your paycheck is going to come from. That's where your residual income is going to come from. It's not going to come from people buying annual bod memberships. That's the extra. That's the bonus on top of it. But those cycles are your bread and butter because the retail can dry up. How many of you sell a challenge pack to somebody and after 2 months they cancel their Shakeology? Right? You don't get that commission. Your retail's gone. You could have 10 Shakeology customers and 1 month they could all cancel or put it all on hold. And that $300 and something that you were like counting on is then gone because it's retail and it dries up. Now, retail is important. We have our customers. But if you are in this for the long haul, this is where you have to be building. And this is where you need to understand how this all works. I know it sounds overwhelming. I could see some of your faces. You're like, oh my God, I know it sounds overwhelming. But if you just break it down to a couple of very simple things. Know where your carryover is, which leg it's on, so you can be aware of it. Then you build on the leg opposite your carryover. But if you're an emerald, you need to watch to make sure that you don't cap. And the way that you do that is you make sure that you always have a pipeline that you're recruiting and that your focus should be on 2 things, building your weak leg and getting to diamond. Because that gives you a really, really, really big buffer. You're talking a difference of, I'm trying to figure it out. If diamond is $2,000 a week, diamond gives you a buffer of about 8,000 or 10,000 volume points on your weak leg. So you have a lot of time to build your business. Emerald gives you a very small buffer, 16 cycles, and that's it, you're capped. You're not capped at diamond until your weak leg is roughly around 10 or 11,000 points versus 1,600. So you have one coach on your weak leg that gets it and runs, you're capped. So you need to watch that. Because otherwise, like I said, then we end up losing money. So set your goals. And you guys can take this and teach this to your coaches as they come in. And if they feel confused, not now, don't teach it to brand new coaches. They will be so overwhelmed. But it's important that as you guys develop, this is something that you have to understand so that as your coaches that come in that say, like, I want to build a long-term business, you understand this enough that as they start growing, or if they're on a power, like once they get to Emerald, that they understand how the comp plan works. So we have a couple minutes left before they cut us off. Do you guys have any other questions? Let me see if I can unmute everybody without it getting too loud. Let's see. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, unmute. There we go. Ah. You guys are all unmuted. Anybody else? All right, ladies. I hope this was helpful for you guys.
So thank you.
You're so welcome. If
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Post them, I'll come on and try to answer them as best I can.
And they Sherpa thing
But I'll post this recording if you have coaches that didn't get to pop on and you want to tag them. But I hope this is for you guys. It's important that you guys understand this. You guys realize that you're all sitting on a lot of money, right?
Did you say you were going to answer the questions on the comments?
Yeah, what's up? Who was that? I can't see who's asking.
That's Myra. It's me. Did you say you were going to answer the comments also?
Yeah,
the questions that were in the comments?
Unsure. Yeah, if you're kind of unsure after this, you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, just ask in the page and I'll tag me and I'll come answer it. That's fine.
Perfect.
So.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Enjoy.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.